I wanted to start doing videos on dream interpretation using my dreams as examples. And I've talked about multiple different types of dreams depending on whether or not you're connected to your passive or your active subconscious or your passive or your active superconscious. I didn't want to start with the superconscious because it's a little bit more complex. However, I do have 3 very important dreams that came from my superconscious that I want to share that are very relevant to the time. So we're starting there anyway. Again, your superconscious is what's connected into source as well as the collective. Any kind of entities from the other side, whether that's passed on loved ones, demons, angels, aliens, I'm not sure what I believe about most of that stuff, but any kind of entity from the other side of the veil. The first dream is a dream that I had last night, and it's very simple, very short. It was a dream of a tree that was split in 2, and it looked like 2 separate branches, and until you panned down, you didn't see that it was part of one tree. This reminded me a lot of our government. You know how they say 2 wings of the same bird? And for the longest time, most of us had the wool pulled over our eyes thinking that we have 2 separate entities representing 2 different sides of the coin, when in actuality, they're both just trying to protect their interests and don't really care too much about the people. In this dream, the tree was dying, and there was a flock of birds on one side on one branch and a flock of birds on the other side, and they flew out of this tree. And when they first flew out of the tree, they were very separated, very going in different directions. But they eventually corrected course and came together as one very coordinated flock. And I believe that this flock of birds represents us, the people. We're reaching a point in history where we're no longer allowing our government to divide us, because we realize that it's been a divide and conquer strategy in order to keep us under. We've been operating with 0-term limits, and we have a bunch of career politicians in office right now that have become so corrupt, and they no longer care about the people's interest. And they know that the only way that they stay in power is if we're divided and fighting amongst each other. So they've divided us by race and sexual orientation and political ideations and religion and anything else that you can think of. This app has done a lot to pull people together out of that very polarized vibe. And them attempting to take this app away from us when it's given us that tiny glimmer of hope that we needed in order to rise out of the ashes, they are making a huge mistake and shooting themselves in the foot. It's only going to bring us together even more.